Okay, welcome to Pure Breathwork, a science of breathing. This is our facilitator training, and I'm really looking forward to delving into the science of breathing, the benefits of maybe some breath holds, what we do, how to explain this to your clients. Yeah, really just a deep dive into some facts and how everything works as well. So, beautiful Victoria and Caitlin, thank you for being part of our weekend immersion. I'm excited for this as well. I'm going to unmute you both, and then you can, if you'd like to unmute yourselves. Amazing. Okay, so if I put on gallery view as well, maybe a little bit easier. All right. So, is there anything specific that stands out for you that you'd like to know for the science of breathing before I start rambling on, and it might not be exactly what you need? So let's work to your needs.
So with my stepdad, I'm trying to convince. Well, they're doing the Bolt test thing. So
Amazing.
My stepdad doing it every day. So we're on I think we're on 5 days now.
And how is their score? And just before anyone who doesn't know, the Bolt score is the body oxygen level test. So you test yourself every day with just a pure breath out, holding your nose, and you build up the tolerance to carbon dioxide in your body, which helps heal and repair and restore and rebalance the cells. So
a bit kind of more detail, because I've said exactly those words to them and they're on it. Because also it's great, and I've written it on their whiteboard, so when they sit down and have their tea, it's facing them. So they've gone from 17 seconds to 30, 35.
Wow. So they've doubled their tolerance in 5 days.
My mum has, but my stepdad's on 22. But he really struggles. But I think I realised, because I could say to them that, it motivated them to want to do it, because I'm like, oh my God, I can sit here for 20 seconds and it's helping my cells repair and feel better. So kind of expanding on that. So I guess the benefits of the breath hold, so that I can lure them in, for want of a better word, a little bit more.
Okay. So I was just doing it while you were speaking then. It's that easy. It's that easy. So the main thing I would suggest is, obviously, the body oxygen level test is an incredible way, one, to build up tolerance in our own body so we can have longer breath holds, so the body repairs itself when we're in a breath hold.
How? So I guess what's the, how does that work?
Okay, so easy way of explaining this. So when we breathe in, it's a gas exchange from the oxygen to the cells. The cells, which is carried on what we call hemoglobin. And so imagine a train coming in. So the oxygen comes in on a train, comes down into the cells, and then it's a gas exchange. So the gas exchange then goes into the cells. The cells then release carbon dioxide. So what we do when we breathe out, we're breathing out that waste gas. But carbon dioxide also has a really important role to play with rejuvenating the cells, cleaning the blood, and really allows us to strengthen the cells as well. So if we look at the breath technique body points, when we do fast breathing into a certain point of the body, we then breathe out all of that gunk and dense energy that's in the body. And then when we have the breath hold, we're either putting more carbon dioxide back in on an in-breath. So the carbon dioxide will go to work on specific points that need repairing or strengthening, rejuvenating. So the cells get rejuvenated. So when we rejuvenate cells, that's when we repair the body. So if we're in a breath hold on the in, We're holding that carbon dioxide in the body. Okay, so we allow that to go. If we breathe out and hold the breath, we're emptying the lungs, the cells of everything. The cells will naturally start producing more carbon dioxide. Okay, so the body really goes to us. So I quite like to always have one breath hold on the in, one breath hold on the out, because then we get a really nice balance in the body. And we start changing the biochemistry of the body when we hold the breath. We start changing the chemistry of the mind. The mind goes to work with the innate, goes to work, goes, okay, cool. So in this very now moment, this is how I like to explain it as well. So we're not there is no past, no future. Right here, right now, the body goes to work. And so anything that needs repairing, anything that needs healing, the cells come alive because they're flooded with oxygen, and obviously through the breathing. So the body allows itself to start repairing and start healing itself. So that's why you always, when you have a breath hold, vibrations really come on strong. That's called the cleansing stage. So when we get the body to vibrate, it's called a cleansing stage. So all of the cells repair, rejuvenate. The blood gets clean as well. So the cleaner the blood, the better the blood flow. So we strengthen the body. We strengthen the muscles, we strengthen the organs. So the body.
Go back a sec to the blood flow thing. What did you say about blood flow? Sorry,
Sorry, am I talking too fast?
I'm trying to I am trying to write notes and take it in.
Okay.
I just kind
so
when blood flow.
Yeah, of course. So oxygen comes into the cells, right? Which comes down the bronchi into the lungs, which is what goes into. There's millions of sacs on the lungs called the alveoli.
Yeah.
Okay, the alveoli is, if you was actually to take out the lungs and the alveoli, millions and millions of sacs, you could stretch it across a whole tennis court. Okay, so what happens is in the gas exchange, obviously from the lungs is pumped into the heart. The heart then obviously pumps the blood around the body. So the cleaner, the more oxygen we're bringing in, the cleaner we're going to make the air within, which then goes into the heart, which pumps out purer blood. So we're cleaning the blood, we're rejuvenating the cells. So, and the cleaner the blood, it actually becomes thinner. That's why they always say, like, I have like paracetamol to thin the blood or whatever. It's because the thinner and the cleaner the blood, the better the blood flow. So that means more cells are being pumped with good energy. So
that's exactly what I need, because he's worried about having a heart attack.
Yeah. Well, for holding his breath.
Oh no, just like in his life.
Right.
Because his dad died of a heart thing. So it's a good persuader. Do you know what? Because I was talking about like increasing like the circulation, but I couldn't explain how it was going to help his heart and stuff like that.
So great. In normal life, obviously when we do a breathwork session, we're in fact we're over breathing in a way, okay, because we're just absolutely flooding the body with oxygen, which for the cells go, well, hey, we're having a party, because they're getting absolutely pure oxygen, pure life force put into them. So the cells really come alive. That's when, and every cell holds an electrical current. So when we flood them with oxygen, they activate, and it's like okay. So all of the old cells actually combust. When you say we're burning calories or we're burning cells, that's what we're actually doing. Each cell burns away. So that's breathwork is the number one way to lose weight.
Okay, that's great.
Okay, so coming back to the heart, we are actually supposed to breathe light to breathe right. So we're supposed to breathe really slowly, and we're supposed to breathe less. So most people breathe 12 to 20 times per minute. Okay, we're supposed to breathe, if you can get a good thing, I would say 5 to 6 breaths per minute. But if you want to take it down even further, you could go 3 breaths per minute, which is in for 10, out for 10.
Wow, that's really slow, isn't it? Only because I count yoga poses in breaths, minutes. If I was teaching yin, I would count 10 for a minute.
Yeah. So you're supposed to have optimal health is about 5 to 6 breaths per minute.
Really?
Yeah.
How do you breathe, Caitlin? Do you know how many breaths you breathe a minute?
I have no idea.
Only because, and that 10 would be ujjayi breathing.
I was doing ujjayi breathing last night, actually. It's nice. I like ujjayi breathing.
I like ujjayi breathing. Wow, okay.
Yeah, does that make sense so far?
Yeah, it makes sense. How do you feel, Caitlin? I feel like I'm a little bit dumb. Like it makes sense and I understand it, but like my retention is so, like, I've had mushroom quadriceps this morning.
Have you? Nice.
In cacao, because I was like, right, then I'm going to be fully engaged and I'm going to remember that, like. And I've also got brain tonic tablets, which I keep forgetting to take, because like they're for my memory, which the same tablets that I keep trying to take and forgetting. So that's all for me. I'm trying my best to give you all my attention, but yeah. And I guess I want to remember it so much because I have people that I directly want to repeat it to.
So a good way of me, I've always explained this as well, is like for us as facilitators, we need to know this. But for me personally, I always want to know the mechanics of how things work. But do we get in a car and know how the engine works? We turn a key, we get in and we drive. I don't know how my engine works in my car. But for myself, my breathing, I want to know. So most people just won't want to know the science. It's too over their heads. Do you know what I mean? They want to know, come to a breathwork session, turn the key, start breathing, and go to their destination. I
get you.
Yeah.
Most people.
But obviously there is some people who get a little bit want to know.
Weirdly, my stepdad's in panic. So he's retired now, but yeah, so he would know exactly how the car works.
Yeah.
And it's
but it's not many people that do.
No, but I think it would, I guess it's good, like for my own learning, these two, my mum and my stepdad, in order for me to get them on board.
Oh no, of course, absolutely. For us, me personally, we need to know the science of breathing because it really gives us that insight. Imagine the breath coming in, and as we're breathing, we're feeling that breath coming in down the bronchi into the lungs, being exchanged into the heart, into the blood, down into the cells, feeling the cells coming alive. Every step, like imagine, and you're feeling that gas exchange, you're feeling all of the old cells being dissolved, all new cells being rejuvenated, cleansing the whole. But this is why I quite like the first 15, 20 minutes of a breathwork session, cleansing and purifying the body.
With your words and going through consciousness.
Using the breath as that first 15, 20 minutes is a cleansing and purification stage. So any blockages, any stagnant energy, any old cellular memory, traumas, pains, the quicker we can get it out, the better. So this is why a warm-up's really not always nice in a breathwork session as well, because you're opening up the lungs, you're getting the lungs working. So we wouldn't go into yoga or exercise without having a warm-up as well. So even that first few minutes, just some nice gentle breathing, but it just gets the energy flowing. Because remember, we're breathing energy. It's not just oxygen. So for me, when we actually breathe energy, every breath is life force. Every breath is spirit, and really takes us opening up that consciousness, opening up that third eye, opening up the lungs to be able to receive more. I really like that, and the science of having them few breath holds as well, just at the beginning of any session, just to have a couple of minutes of breathing, have a nice breath hold, have a couple of minutes, have a nice breath hold. That really allows the body to start that cleansing stage, to start the inner healing.
This might be a silly question.
There's no silly questions.
I'm just thinking what my dad would say. So what is the science behind what we're clearing?
Okay, so when we breathe in new oxygen, we're breathing into the cells hold all of the stored energy, all of the negative energy. Okay, so when we bring in the oxygen on the hemoglobin on that train that's coming in, that's carrying the oxygen in, when it hits the cells, it's called a gas exchange. A gas exchange is very quite hard to understand, but imagine like a relay race, and when you're running and you hand the baton over. Okay, so the baton, this is just an analogy that I heard years ago. So you're handing that baton over, boom, and it's taken and it's exchanged, and the next person goes on. So when we come in, the oxygen comes into the cells, and then the gas exchange happens. The chemical and the science behind that is genius, right? But for some, all of a sudden, then the carbon dioxide will go the other way, and the hemoglobin, as we're breathing out, it takes that carbon dioxide and breathes it out. Okay, so it's like a complete exchange, like a relay, going back and forth on that hemoglobin, on that train which carries the blood, carries the oxygen into the cells.
Can I just say something?
Yeah.
You said, say, like, because I feel like Caitlin's dad and my stepdad and that kind of generation, they're great people for us to use because they're so like this, like
different generation.
This stuff is like all like, so because you said the cells hold the negative energy, and my dad would say, well, what do you mean negative?
Well, I'm just saying, Caitlin was talking about what are we actually exchanging. So the cells hold all of our memories, all of the any toxins, poisons, viruses, anything that's in the so anything that is of a lower vibration within the body. Okay, so when I say negative energy, I was trying to be but I wasn't being broad enough, so I do apologize.
That's all. I just thought if it was like, I did think toxins and things like that.
So
that makes more tangible sense then?
Of course, absolutely. So I do apologize that I wasn't being broad. So anything that's stored within the body, if we're holding any sickness, any toxins, anything, we can use the breath to heal the body. Okay, the breath can practically heal anything with enough sessions or enough oxygen in. I've seen people clear complete sickness within 1 hour of breath work, because the more we oxygenate the body, the more we're clearing that waste gas, that toxins, poisons, viruses, sicknesses, blockages, whatever we may be holding on to in the body. Like, look at yourself yesterday, Vic, with that little block in the chest. Did that go, by the way?
Well, do you know what? I don't want to be negative, but I didn't enjoy that.
Didn't enjoy that yesterday, no.
And I didn't enjoy the after effects of it. And I just
How was you last night?
not happy.
Really? I've never. Yeah, perhaps you obviously will go through some more rebirthing today.
Well, I spoke to my mum about it, and we think, my mum and me, after like dissecting it a little bit yesterday, that I've got my nan inside. Sounds ridiculous, but like that I'm carrying my nan, because I've got my nan inside of me. She's angry, so it's her anger. So her, and I guess like, making me feel sick now. Yes. I guess I didn't cover it. I don't feel like it's cleared. I feel like
perhaps we needed to go a little bit deeper. Perhaps I cut the session a bit short.
Well, we were like going for a couple of hours, I think, because so
again, it's just another layer. So just really be gentle with that. Don't allow, if it's not your energy, just feel it. No, if it's just your energy, observe it. Just take a moment right now. Okay. And just take a nice breath in. And just imagine that beautiful oxygen coming into your body, holding your body. And now feel that oxygen flooding down into every part of your body, especially into that chest part. And as you're holding it now, that gas exchange is happening. Carbon dioxide will come now into that part. All of that waste gas is now going to be dissolved. That feeling, that emotion. When you breathe out, you're going to breathe that out and release that and let that go. How does that make you feel? Still angry?
Well, I'm not angry. I feel like there's this like weird tangle that I've just kind of like a little sort of like Pandora's box that I've opened in a new space that I didn't know was in there. And now I'm like, oh no. Just
observe it. Observe it.
Well, what I saw.
Observe it with no judgment. Okay. No, you're just the observer. It's not your energy. Okay. So don't talk to it. Don't acknowledge it. You just observe it and watch it and see what it does.
Like I don't want to let my nan go. So because I don't want to let her go, I'm keeping her in me with this energy. That's what I saw on like the breath out. Was like I was if I was breathing out, it was like letting her spirit go. So I feel like there's just a weird conversation that's been going on inside me that I don't have to have her. But I'm always wearing something of her. So I do have her with me a lot, but I think maybe my energy's got confused of what of her I'm holding. I don't know. That was kind of, so I felt letting it go out.
Okay, good. You all right?
Yeah.
What just happened?
Because like
something's there.
Oh, I can feel her.
Okay, so that's just a conversation you got to have with her. Okay. But really just become the observer. Don't allow any judgments. Just watch and just be in the seat of your own consciousness. Just allow the thoughts to play out, let it to flow. Because if you don't allow it to flow, it becomes the block. Just keep observing. Don't engage in any way, just watch. He was engaging, wasn't you? I could see, I could feel.
Ah.
This is a really good meditation as well, actually. Yeah, just keep observing. See how that makes you feel. Just no judgments, no engagement. Just let it flow. And just have another 30 seconds. Okay, when you're ready, take a nice big breath. So that big breath in fills your body with oxygen. As we really release with a big sigh, the sigh just allows with that, it's like a sound, it's a vibration. It just allows the body to just release. And relax, really relax your shoulders deep into it. Okay, how do you feel now?
Yeah, good. With the science of rebirthing, is there a science to how that manages to take you back in time?
It's more memory than science, because we're coming back down the timelines. Obviously, our memory is consciously, subconsciously, knowing and unknowingly. Everything we've played out is all within us as well. So it's just about going back into that moment, back down that timeline into that thing. But again, the cells hold that cellular memory. So when we clean and purify and rejuvenate the cells, we're cleaning that cellular memory. So the more oxygen we get into the cells, the more we release. With every out breath, we're continuously releasing and letting go of all of that stored energy.
Mm-hmm.
Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Have I explained that fully for you? Caitlin, any questions on this as well?
No.
Did you what was you feeling when you was sat there with your eyes closed as well? Was there something?
I was just really observing. I was like really envisioning all the little cells. I've never done that before. I've never thought about us breathing in and with the cells, and then it kind of blew my mind a bit. I feel a bit mindful.
You got to imagine that you got about 50 trillion cells in your body. 50 trillion, it's roughly about 50 trillion. Some say 40, some say 60, some say 70. There's all different numbers. So I always like to say roughly around 50 trillion, just to average it out.
I'm thinking of like, I really like the idea of explaining to like my dad that our cells hold memories. But is there a way I can...
One.
Sorry.
I wondered what that was.
I was wondering if there's like a little graphic on like YouTube that you could play to people, because Stella, who teaches anatomy for me, she has loads of anatomy little, like, and just kind of like playing that, how we're like envisaging it.
Yeah, of course. I'm sure. Have a look on YouTube. There'll be loads on there. I've watched so many videos of science of breathing on YouTube.
That's a good idea. But yeah, I'm just thinking how to kind of explain that in a scientific way.
In layman's terms, I would keep it very simple, because sometimes we can overcomplicate things as well, right? So I would explain it. What would he actually want to know, Caitlin? What was it again? About holding the memory, right?
Yes, holding the memories, yeah.
Okay, so obviously imagine an iceberg, okay? Our conscious mind is the top of the iceberg that comes out of the water.
Yeah.
Our subconscious is the great big bit of the iceberg underneath the ice that we don't see.
Yeah.
Okay, so when we think about that, 95% of our subconscious mind runs the program, runs everything. Even walking, we don't have to think about walking because it's just something we do. Eating, picking up a knife and fork, it's all done subconsciously. It's just natural to us, right? So all of our memories, everything that we've played out, gets stored in that big iceberg underneath the sea.
Yeah.
So imagine it's like imagine we are a supercomputer as well, with the most powerful memory you've ever seen, and we're only using tiny bit of that, but everything else is stored in that. I say go back to the iceberg, back into that big block of ice underneath the surface. So everything we're holding on to, all of the pain, the traumas, the emotions, even someone saying something negative to you, gets stored within that. So our job, imagine if we are breathing from the top of the iceberg, we're breathing down into the bottom of that iceberg, and we're putting everything up from the bottom of the iceberg right to the top, and letting it go out into the air, into that ocean.
So I've been saying this, but I don't know if this is right, but so can we say that when we do breath work, it accesses our subconscious?
Yes.
Mind?
Yes, absolutely. So what happens is we access the lymphatic system.
Does it? Oh, okay.
Okay. So the lymphatic system holds that, goes past that conscious mind. This is why we can have mystical experiences as well, because we're opening up into other parts of consciousness that we've forgotten about. And we access other parts of ourselves that we've forgotten about as well, which is, so when we're breathing in a circular motion, as I explained to you yesterday, Vic, we breathe in, we breathe out, we're bringing everything to that surface. So this is why even when you're in any session, like you might have a certain intention like we did yesterday, and all of a sudden something else might come up. Because that's being brought to the surface. And the best thing you can always do is that observing what we did there, you just observe everything. Let it come, let it flow, because it's coming up for a reason. So the more we bring oxygen in, so this is the body, we're bringing oxygen in, we're pushing that up to the surface from the cells. Everything's being rejuvenated, everything's being cleaned, purified in the body. So if it's got to be clean and purified, it's got to go somewhere. Okay, if we bring it to the surface, this is why when we breathe out, we're releasing it back into the universe. I always release with love. Release back to the universe with love. So we're clearing out our whole energy field. We're not just this, we have an energy field around us as well. So not only are we cleaning internally, we can clean externally as well, because our energy field holds energy as well. But for inside, internal, the more oxygen we get in, this is why when you have them beautiful moments where you just feel so light, you feel oneness, you feel pure, because we've cleaned all of that energy from the blood, the muscles, the organs, the tissues, through the bones, through the blood, through the DNA. It's a complete purification of mind, body, spirit.
Vic,
Does that make sense?
Yeah. But Vic, this is a question that I've been feeling into, and you might be able to answer. Or even you, Joby, but what do you, in comparison to energy healing, what do you feel the differences are in terms of science?
Good question.
I've been really feeling into it the last few days. I don't know the answer yet.
I guess it's kind of the same, because I've been using my Reiki practice and my breath practice as one practice.
Mm-hmm.
So come in together.
Mm-hmm.
For me, it feels like it's enhancing it, like with the symbols. So I've been breathing the Reiki symbols.
Oh, yeah.
And so for me, it's like the energy and the science of like imprinting it in my body. So I feel like I'm drawing the symbols on me with the breath. So I can either like into them or hold the breath, and holding the breath and drawing in them. So I feel like it's giving me a pathway to connect to the energy whilst I'm allowing those cells to transform. And while those cells are transforming, I'm tracing where I want to move the energy.
Yeah.
Amazing. Great question. So also just something that comes to my mind. So when we hold the breath as well, we change the chemistry in the mind. Okay. So the mind starts creating and firing and wiring new neurons together. When we fire and wire new neurons together, we can create new stories, new pathways. The brain activates into higher capacity, into higher consciousness. So not only we're changing the physiology of the body, we're changing the chemistry of the mind as well.
Yes. And so, you know, like with like the Reiki, when you're doing like energy, and you're, in some ways, it's kind of like all about the mind and the mind direction. And like with that, holding the breath and changing the chemistry and getting into that, using it, I think they go together really well. Because especially if you're new to like energy healing, but you want to use the breath to connect to the energy healing and direct it. So
mm-hmm. Yeah, because it's like the breath makes you present, as you said, and it opens up your cells to receive that energy.
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah. Okay, guys, we're gonna have to go.
Okay. Okay.
Bye.
See you in a few hours. Yeah.
See you soon.
Thanks for popping in. Bye. Love ya. Bye. Okay. Does that help so far?
Yeah. And I know that we've talked about it before. And so I think for me,
it's just one of these, you got to keep repeating it. Same as learning the language of breathwork session as well. The more you do it, and the more you talk about it. Even myself, I don't talk about science of breathing every day, but for things like this, I love it. I get so excited because I don't get to talk about it every day. So for me, it's a beautiful thing to talk about. And theory sessions are so important. Like my other student, Joe, who you meet tomorrow again, we've had sessions before where we get on and we just start talking. We do 2 hours of talking. He goes, I've got more out of that than I have doing a session.
Yeah, I think especially when you're a student like we are, or you're still in the stages of explaining it to other people. But like with yoga,
like I never tell anyone necessarily what the benefits are, because I know it and I'm embodying it so much. I don't have to. So like,
Of course, that's
number
exactly. It's
But with
exactly
the
where you'll
breath,
get with breath. Exactly where you'll get with breath work as well.
because I'm in the beginning, I'm still not convincing myself because I can feel it. But do you know what I mean? I feel like it's just what happens when you're a beginner at something. You want to understand it, and you feel like you need to explain that to the people that you're engaging and offering it to, because you're not yet fully embodying it for them to be able to see it and come towards you with it, if that makes sense. So that's
Of course.
the stage that I'm at. And
Yeah, and of course, and that'll come with time as well. The more we sit and we talk, and the more we can watch some videos and everything, the more we just immerse ourselves in it, the more it just becomes a natural thing. But explaining to people the gas exchange and everything is like it's mind boggling, you know. It's genius, and what our bodies can actually do is phenomenal. And how they function, how the body functions for us, completely and utterly in its own right. We don't have to do anything, you know. We just have to be the experience. And it really is fascinating to understand even just a fraction of it. But do we have to explain it to everyone? Probably not. But those that do want to know, it's really good for us to have that, to be the authority, to be that teacher and go, this is boom, and just have the answer.
Yeah, and I think it's just getting like one paragraph or a couple of sentences that I feel really comfortable with.
Yeah,
you know, not the whole science, but just
of course
the interpretation of it. Because I'm one of those people that I don't really care. I would go, and as long as I can feel it, that's all I need.
Yeah.
So that's why it doesn't stay in me, because I can feel it, so I don't need to know it.
Yeah.
But
and that's the beauty of the thing. Even having a big breath in and just and just feeling tension and stress leaving your body with one breath.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah.
Wherever, not in my, that's like actual people, like physical people. But just yeah, they're my stepdad, Alphonse, his name is. I mean, he breathes. It's so, like he said, oh, when I take a big breath, and I was like, take a big breath, and he went, and I was like, are you breathing? Like, but that's his big breath.
And everyone has their own breath signature. So imagine our fingerprints. Okay, so every single person is imprinted when they're born with their own breath signature. Some people breathe really deep, some people breathe really fast, slow, some breathe really shallow, some breathe into the chest, some breathe into the belly. And that's just their signature. But we can also train the body to breathe in a different way.
From yoga, I breathe from like low in my, like a full yogic breath, because I spent such a long time doing that. Sometimes my breath comes from really deep down in my belly and kind of like rolls up. Breath, you know what I mean? It's like a full
train. I consciously breathe so much. My breath signature now is completely different to what it should be. And again, I'm conscious of practically every breath I take now.
Yeah.
You know, and again, it's one of them. It's like, sometimes you just got to let your body breathe itself as well. But I'm just conscious of every breath, and it's like,
if you weren't conscious of it, how would you breathe?
It'd be into my belly. Probably say about 10 breaths per minute.
Yeah,
naturally. but I try and get to about 5 or 6 breaths per minute. But that's why I'm always consciously breathing as well, because I want to get that. Breathe light to breathe right while I'm not doing breathwork sessions, you know.
Yeah, I will probably end up trying to breathe 5 breaths a minute as well. That's really interesting, only because, no, I won't actually, because it will not help me with yoga. If I'm teaching yin, I don't use a clock. I use my breath as a counter.
How do you?
Yeah, so it's 30 breaths for 3 minutes or 40 breaths. So I generally kind of like keep people in for 30 or 40 breaths.
Okay.
Don't wear a watch, and sometimes like there's not anything there, and if you keep looking at your phone, it's a bit weird.
Yeah, of course.
I use my breath. So my
Amazing. That's really good. And is that full yogic breaths?
Yeah, it's like, it's well, not full yogic, no, it's more like ujjayi breath.
Okay. So you're still looking at about what's that, 4 seconds per breath? 4 or 5 seconds per breath?
Maybe 10 a minute.
10 a minute. So
I'm not great at maths.
No.
So out on my calculator.
So do you count one breath in, one breath out? Like an exhale as one breath?
Inhale, exhale, one.
Is one breath. Yeah.
So 6 seconds a breath.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So 6 seconds in, 6 seconds out.
No.
Oh no, 3 in, 3 out. Okay, so just double extend that. 6 seconds in, 6 seconds out. If you was to double that, you'd go down to 5 breaths per minute.
Yeah, I guess that's like that breath, that the way that works. I don't have to think about it because I know that that's like my counter, if you know what I mean. And
yeah, of course.
If I switch like the Darth Vader sound on, that's like how it is.
Show me your ujjayi breathing, because I would like to compare it to what I was doing last night. Switch the Darth Vader breath on.
Can you hear it? Can you hear it?
I am your father.
It used to be much louder, but I tried to soften it a bit. I used to be like an aggressive ujjayi breather, and it used to be like. Then, but it's softer now because.
Yeah. The one I was doing last night was really soft. I haven't done ujjayi breathing for so long, and I just see it and I was like, okay. It was only like a 10-15 minute video, and I was just sitting there while I was just had some dinner, and I just thought just as nice and relaxed after dinner.
Practice, so I do it every day when I practice yoga. It's the breath I use to move. So my mum and my stepdad hear me doing it because in the kitchen I practice my yoga and they sit on the sofa behind me having a cup of tea.
You love that. I love that.
While I'm going.
So a good breath as well. I mentioned it yesterday, potato breathing. Really good for the science of breathing. Incredible. Because it's all about really slow breathing and even breathing in silence. So you breathe and you don't try not to make a noise. This is how you really get breath mastery as well.
Okay. I haven't done that breath.
It's just really slow. So just take a nice, really slow breath in.
With no sound.
Yeah, try and make no sound. Obviously, at first it might be a little bit of sound, but it's just a practice.
Oh.
Go on.
I'm just trying to not ujjayi breathe. That's like where we've done that. I'm trying.
Yeah, because you've programmed yourself.
Yeah. So whenever
you've programmed yourself
in quietly, and then it went.
Really feel it nice and slow coming up the body. Really, really slow. And then when you breathe out, it's just a practice.
Yeah, I'd have to practice it. Do you know what would help me if I thought there was a burglar and I was trying to be quiet so they didn't find me?
Best explanation for potato breathing ever. I've never had that.
Really, that's just what came to me. I was like, be quiet in case there's a burglar in their house and you can hide in the cupboard. Obviously.
Brilliant. Don't manifest that though, please.
No, the other thing could be hide and seek when I'm playing hide and seek with my niece and nephew. That's
so that's a better one. Yeah, that's more fun. Okay, so the idea of this is what we do. We do a couple of minutes, and then you take the breath so slowly and up to peak point. It's like it's very, very slow, and then all of a sudden the breath becomes the breath hold. So you're breathing into the breath hold.
Okay.
So once you've done a couple of minutes, really slow breathing, like to breathe, right?
That's a noisy breather.
Yeah, that's okay. That's okay.
That's what I realised when I'm trying to do this, and I'm like,
it's okay. It's just the to be fair, you don't have to have it silent. It's just something that they come up with to really help you master your breath. So the lighter you can breathe with this, the more the body actually functions more efficiently. So the oxygen and the cells actually have that time to really rejuvenate, really cleanse. The blood gets cleansed, the cells get rejuvenated in a really functional manner, rather than when we're breathing in, breathing out, breathing in, breathing out. We're not giving the body time, in theory, to do the work.
So when we do that, so if I was going to instruct that to somebody, how much time would I be with it was good with your hand, so I just followed your hand.
Exactly. That's why I always do this. So just follow the hand and then stop. And again, I did a really short breath hold. I could have gone a lot longer, but obviously just for training purposes. And then you can just breathe out.
And would you breath hold out? So you're breathing into a breath hold out too?
You can do if you want to. The main thing is it's just this really slow. So again, you're going to go on a count for about 8 or 9 in. And then about 8 or 9 out. Do that for a couple of minutes. And then as you get to, once you've done a couple of minutes, you can just take that breath in. So rather than when we take a normal breath hold, it's like, it's quite exaggerated. It's big. Put everything in. Squeeze. Okay. With this, it's just a continuous breath.
And where are you directing it? Breathing to
so breathe from the belly. Always breathe from the ribs. So breathing wide.
Helpful to put your hands on.
Yeah, you could put your hands there if you wanted to, if that's easier, just to, or even here. So it's, you feel it coming up the body.
Not for like me personally, but in like for teaching, just to help people.
Of course. So when we breathe from the ribs, we automatically allow the diaphragm, which sits under the ribs, to So when we breathe in, the diaphragm comes down. When we breathe out, the diaphragm comes up, right? So it's like, I like to look at it as a pulley system.
Yeah.
So we breathe into the belly. And you'll feel it, and then all of a sudden the chest expands, the ribs expand. But from here, straight from, if we're breathing in here, it automatically keeps us in parasympathetic nervous system. It allows the diaphragm to function efficiently, so we're not putting stress on the body. It allows the lungs to inflate, deflate, creating complete perfect harmony. So we're not putting stress and pressure. Even when we're rebirthing, I always feel my ribs expand first.
Yeah. Okay, so you're in that like almost more like a weave feeling as opposed to the, yeah. Maybe it's, do you think it's like personal things? Because I quite like the weave. I prefer the out sensation than the vertical sensation.
Because that's what your body should naturally do.
What, the out rather than
Yeah, so you're expanding. So when we expand, when we breathe in, we expand.
Yeah, because it's like a natural. So when, like, for me, the weave breathing feels much easier than the rebirthing. Like when we were at the end of the session yesterday, and I felt like relief in a not in a, you know, just like, oh, this is nice. I can just go like, how?
Yeah, because the ribs is how we are supposed to breathe. This is when we even just a nice breath in. First thing that opens up is the ribs.
Yeah.
It's just a natural thing, and that's why I designed breathing as well. Because I just, it felt more natural than.
Some people don't breathe like that though.
No,
but
again,
or like maybe they do, but they don't. They're not conscious of it, or so they can't connect into it. Do you know what I mean? I'm not. Yeah,
I get that. And again, that's just might be their breath signature. That might be their breathing mechanism that we need to go in and break and free. So any breathing technique we do, if we can break that breathing mechanism that they're holding on to of the trauma, of a pain, of emotions, we can go in and break that and free that. All of a sudden, they're going to be able to be a bit more open. They're going to be allowed to be a bit more bigger breaths, especially if you're like your stepdad. But again, he's 70 years of age, so he's probably not going to want to go on a breath journey. But potato breathing for him could be really nice. And the science behind potatoes, if anyone's got asthma, you can heal asthma in about 3 months, completely gone.
Wow. I'm going
maybe quicker.
We're going to pretend that we're on a yoga retreat next Saturday, and I'm going to do a retreat day for my mum and my stepdad.
Oh, amazing. Yeah, I love that.
Breathing, yoga, and we're going to go for a walk.
Love that.
Food and stuff. Yeah. Trying to set them up for autumn so that they stay well.
Yeah, I love that. So yeah, potato breathing, really nice, slow breathing. Go for a couple of minutes, take the breath into the breath hold and just hold. And then once you're ready, you just breathe back out and go back in on your journey. In, really slow breathing. And you'll be surprised at what it does. I've had potato breath sessions and I'm like zinging. I'm like, because you're really allowing the oxygen to come in effortlessly, but it just goes so deep.
On your in the manual, there's a little bit on potato breathing, isn't there? And
yes, there is. Yeah.
It says about it being nasal breathing and then like reducing breathing, focusing on reducing.
So you're actually breathing less.
Okay.
Yeah. So reducing the breath down to 10 breaths per minute, down to 3 or 4 breaths per minute.
Oh wow, okay. That'd be interesting.
Yeah. 3 breaths per minute is really good.
Yeah, cool. Okay, yeah, I meant to do that, but then when you just said Bateka the other day, but then I thought, oh, I need to read it before I do it with them. So that's great. Yes. It's amazing. It can do all this stuff's been around for ages, but
Years and years and years. Yeah.
it's funny how like the doctor doesn't do anything, like the GP, like
Well, Constantine Bateko, so his thing was he was every time he sees someone was sick, he was actually a mechanic, funny enough. Okay, so he started getting sick himself, and he was noticing that him and other people, every time they were sick, were breathing really heavy. A lot of people back then were obviously mouth breathing all the time. They didn't have the knowledge of nose breathing and things. And he was like, there's a pattern.
Yeah.
There's a pattern. So he decided to really change it, start breathing through the nose, which is obviously our apparatus for breathing anyway. And he was like, I'm going to completely reverse what I'm seeing. People are breathing really fast and heavy through the mouth. Again, it's just causing sickness. All I'm seeing is sickness, people, and a pattern of how people are breathing. So he reversed it and said he's going to breathe through the nose only and breathe really slow. And he healed everything.
Also, it reduced snoring and sleep.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
Oh my God, that's so great. Because my mum's coming to stay with me in Spain for 10 days and she's a real snorer.
It was so funny. Caitlin was at her nan's the other day and we did a session and she was like, listen to this. All I could hear in the background was her nan snoring. Oh, it was hysterical. We were cracking up. She was like, the house is rumbling.
Oh, bless her.
Oh.
Do you think that like that snoring is because people aren't breathing properly?
Yeah, mouth breathing. People who snore mouth breathe. Throw it away. Change it. Shut your mouth. Have you seen mouth tape?
No, I've seen.
Okay, so you can get mouth tape that closes your mouth up, so you have to breathe through your nose while you sleep, and people heal all the snoring goes, sleep apnea goes, people get better sleep.
Really?
Oh yeah, it's incredible. It's incredible.
Getting some tape in my mum.
Yeah, do it. But the thing is, she's 70 odd years of age, so it might be a little bit difficult for her. But in James Nestor's book, Breathe, which is recommended required breathing if you haven't got it already.
I've got this rebook. I've got 2 on my Kindle and one. I've got the rebirth in one.
Yeah.
I've got the other 2 that you mentioned that are on my Kindle.
Yeah, James Nestor's Breathe is incredible. So he did a TED, went around the world meeting all the big experts, everything. Hang on a second. Just turn my battery on before we run out. You're plugged in today, good. Yeah. It's nearly my turn, and I just see the battery go. So he did a thing. They actually clogged up their noses and only breathed through their mouth. Exercise, through the daily life, everything. So they did it for about 10 days, if I remember correctly, and their whole body got sick.
Whoa, really?
Sick. They were like phlegmy, coughy, fatigued. They had hardly any energy, like just completely. So they wasn't sleeping. They was having sleep apnea. They were, they really started to get sick within just 10 days. Then they went the other way, closed up their mouths and only breathed through the nose, and they had more energy. They had no more snoring, no more sleep apnea, no more sickness. Everything they created got reversed.
Wow.
Oh, phenomenal. Phenomenal. So yeah, so we should only breathe through the nose, very lightly, and slowly as well. That's 11:11. Look at that. Make a wish.
Do you know who was born on the 11th of the 11th, 1911?
No.
My nan.
Oh, really?
Mm.
Wow.
Yep. That's what I was thinking. You know, when you said don't engage, I was, for some reason I was going to, it was like, she was like, it was, all I could see was 11, 11, 11. It was like, yeah.
So yeah, so Bottego there's also another book called Oxygen Advantage.
I've got that. So I've got
Amazing.
Oxygen Advantage on my Kindle, the Dan Brule one on my Kindle, and I've got Rebirthing one.
Rebirthing. So get James Nestor's one, Breathe, as well.
Yeah,
that's really good. I highly recommend that book. Leonard Orr's Rebirthing in the New Age is good as well.
Okay, is that like, shall I read the Rebirthing first and then?
Yeah, so Leonard Orr is the one who's done that other Rebirthing book. He's done that with Fanny, she's Spanish, I forget her surname. Okay, so, but then the other Rebirthing one by Leonard Orr is Rebirthing in the New Age. That's pretty cool.
It's good just because like I know it's like it's much better having them in like physicalness, but because I'm moving and I don't have like a one fixed place, it's easier for me to get them digitally. Yeah, but I also want to leave them like around so other people read them.
Amazing. Right, I need to go to the bathroom very quickly. I'm bursting for are we back? 2 secs.
I'm going to get some water while you do.
Okay, perfect.
Do you want to pause your recording?
I'm recording to YouTube, so.
Oh, okay.